Good morning, everyone. After some time away for the holidays, we're happy to welcome you back to Daybreak. I'm Colin Winder.
And I'm Anthony Durzo. Today we have a week full of exciting updates and familiar faces.
We'll tell you about a job opportunity opening up for one of our favorite campus organizations and share another special opening with you, the opening of a new Permanente Brothers.
To keep things classic, we'll have Samuel Parator share with you this week's Sideline Slice, but stay tuned for a brand new face hosting this week's PolitiSmack. Reporter Addison Dale is also in the studio to cover the Miss Universe pageant.
All this and more coming up. Wake up and smell the coffee, Pittsburgh. Our first spring episode of Daybreak starts right now.
Welcome back. Let's get started with your campus news. Here's your weekly weather update with Nick Konopka.
Thanks, Anthony and Collion. This coming week has some dreary weather in store for the Steel City, and it seems like things won't be changing anytime soon. You can expect temperatures that stay straight in the 30 to 50 degree range. Even then, days reach a high 50 and few and far between. There will be some snowfall throughout the week, likely changing to sleet in combination with our steady rain showers. Overall, it would be a good idea to invest in a pair of earmuffs. The winter season in Pittsburgh has just only begun. Now back to our hosts.
Thanks for the update.
Time to hear all about what's happening at Point Park. Let's get started with this week's campus news.
The Student Activities Involvement and Leadership Organization are putting on a club tabling event on January 23rd from 12 to 2 p.m. This event will be held in the Lawrence Hall lobby and outside Point Cafe. Here, you can check out a wide range of what Point Park has to offer, from the Globe newspaper to all things horror or even UV television. If you're interested in joining a club or want to hear about what's happening around campus, this event will be worth your while.
If you're looking to make a couple extra dollars during the 2023-24 school year, Point Park's Campus Activity Board will be looking for applicants. There will be an information table in the lobby of Academic Hall from 12:30 to 3 on Monday, January 23rd. Anyone interested will talk to the executive director of the board. If you have any questions, contact cab@pointpark.edu.
Do you ever feel like an outsider, like you have so many emotions bottled up that you doubt others feel the same? Well, the Student Health and Wellness Center is reaching out using healing circles. Healing circles are, quote, a way to connect, share, and grow with a support network committed to healing. It's a safe space, end quote. These circles will show up periodically in the next coming months, with their first 2 meetings focusing on men's mental health. You can attend the upcoming events on January 23rd and 30th in the Student Center's second floor Blue Room.
You know, that's really good that they're providing these opportunities for mental health, recognizing that some people do have problems, especially in this time of the year with the big changes with the new semester.
I think so too. Like just having them every month, just for people to check in is really good.
Yeah, and like letting the students know that like they're not the only ones struggling. Like there are other people too, and there's help available.
Exactly. However, are you going to the CAB event with the tablings?
Yes.
Yes, see other different clubs. I know UV is probably going to be there.
Probably. Yep, I will be there. Attending, no problem.
After the break, we'll start by diving into this week's Pittsburgh news. Then you hear from our reporters for your sports, political, and entertainment updates.
And of course, you don't want to miss out on our first ray of sunshine of the semester.
Don't go anywhere. Daybreak will be right back.
Welcome back to Daybreak. We hope you enjoyed the student-developed break.
Now, without further ado, here's your city news.
Residents of the Ross and McCandless Township area of the North Hills will enjoy this news. That is, if they enjoy French fries and coleslaw on their sandwiches. Primanti Bros is opening a new location in McIntyre Square on McKnight Road. According to the Pittsburgh Business Times, it will take over the two-story building that Don Pablo's, Emiliano's, and Giant Eagle's Get-Go offices once held. This comes after the popular Pittsburgh food chain promoted the former president and chief marketing officer Adam Golub to CEO. Golub says that the McIntyre Square location is just one of 3 new restaurants that is in the works. The others will be located in Chambersburg, a borough just south of Harrisburg, and Weirton, West Virginia. There's no set date as to when these locations will open.
As many people travel during the holidays, Pittsburgh infectious disease experts warn about the rise in cases of COVID-19 and possible new variants that we'll see as a result. In late December and early January alone, Allegheny County reports nearly 2,000 new COVID-19 infections, 158 hospitalizations. Dr. Amesh Adalha, a senior scholar at Johns Hopkins Center for Health Security, informs the public of a new variant called Kraken, spreading through western Pennsylvania. While concerns arise, Adalha reassures that due to vaccinations and following boosting shots, we won't see an overload of hospitalizations or serious spread of the disease. So make sure to wash your hands, wear a mask, and stay home when feeling ill to protect yourself and others from getting sick.
Well, the Monongahela Incline remains closed this morning despite previous expectations of it reopening by the middle of January. However, this is not the first delay. The popular tourist attraction that takes passengers to and from Mount Washington and Station Square has been closed since August 1st of 2022. According to Pittsburgh Regional Transit, the closure was scheduled for upgrades on the mechanics, controls, and lighting systems along with repairs to the upper and lower stations. The original reopening date was scheduled for November 11th but was postponed to the weekend of Pittsburgh's Light Up Night celebration. However, the date was pushed back once again to mid-January. Today, Pittsburgh Regional Transit says that due to, quote, unforeseen supply chain material issues, the Monongahela Incline is expected to reopen mid to late February of 2023, end quote. Until then, passengers may take the shuttle bus in lieu of the incline or the 40 Mount Washington bus. This is very upsetting for me as a commuter because I live in Mount Washington and I would usually take the incline to get back up, but now I have to rely on the incline shuttle or the bus. And you know how when you take the bus you can track it on your phone? Well, I can't track the incline shuttle.
Oh.
So it's kind of difficult, and I'm
I
ready
know,
for it to
getting
be
the classes
open.
And everything.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's been a little bit of a struggle, but my patience will continue, I guess.
Got till February.
Yeah, we'll see. I was kind of hoping it for to reopen by the new semester, fresh start, but I guess not.
I guess not.
Coming up, we have this week's Ray of Sunshine, but first we'll hear from all of our amazing reporters. For politics, entertainment, and more, stay tuned.
First, we'll talk sports with reporter Samuel Parator, who's here to give you this week's Sideline Slice.
Take it away, Sam.
Thanks, guys. My name is Samuel Parator, and I am here to bring you the first Sideline Slice of 2023. It took until the last second on the last week, but even after a valiant effort and some of the help that we needed, the Pittsburgh Steelers were eliminated from playoff contention on the last week of the regular season after the Miami Dolphins snuck by the New York Jets and clinched that last wild card spot. A Dolphins loss was the last condition that we needed to go our way to sneak into that spot, and we were so close, but ultimately the Dolphins pulled it off. So, with the Steelers' season coming to a close, I switch gears a little bit to the NFL as a whole as we look at what went down last week during Super Wildcard Weekend and preview the upcoming divisional round. Wildcard Weekend certainly put an emphasis on the wild right from the start. On Saturday, the Seahawks were able to keep it close with the 49ers for the first half. After that, the Niners took over and ended the Seahawks season 41-23 on the back of Mr. Irrelevant Brock Purdy throwing to the tune of 332 yards and 4 total touchdowns. Then there was the miraculous comeback of the Jaguars taking down the Chargers 31-30. This one was a story of 2 halves. Jaguars quarterback Trevor Lawrence threw for 4 interceptions in the first half and saw his team go down 27-0. They would finally get on the board right before half to make it 27-7, and that's when the rebound started as they completely turned around the second half to claw their way back and stun the Chargers. Then we moved to Sunday, where the first game saw the Bills barely hold on and get past the Dolphins 34-30 after being 14-point favorites going in. The middle game saw the New York Football Giants stun the 13-4 Vikings 31-24 for their first playoff victory since 2012. Sunday Night Football saw the Bengals take down the Ravens on the back of a Sam Hubbard 98-yard game-winning fumble returned for a touchdown, ending it 24-17. And rounding out Super Wildcard Weekend on Monday night was the Cowboys routing the Buccaneers 31-14, ending Tom Brady's season and starting yet another offseason of limbo for the greatest of all time. That wild weekend of football has set us up for the divisional round, and those matchups are as follows. On Saturday afternoon, we will see the Kansas City Chiefs take on the Jacksonville Jaguars, and at night, we will see division rivals New York Giants and Philadelphia Eagles square off. Moving on to Sunday, we will see the Cincinnati Bengals take on the Buffalo Bills, and the Dallas Cowboys take on the San Francisco 49ers. If last weekend was any indication, we are certainly in for a treat this weekend as well, so you will not want to miss it. That is all for me, and tune in next week to find out the results of these games and get a preview of Championship Weekend. Now I have the honor and privilege of sending it over to the returning Nicholas Konopka for this week's PolitiSmack.
Welcome back to Daybreak. I'm Nick Konopka, and welcome to this week's edition of PolitiSmack. Since our last episode, a lot has happened in Washington, but this week we're going to focus on the under-the-radar political drama of our state capital, Harrisburg. While Republicans were fighting over who would lead their new House majority in Washington, Democrats in Harrisburg were doing their own negotiating to elect a speaker in the Pennsylvania House of Representatives. Back in November, Pennsylvania Democrats were able to win a majority in the state House by 1 seat, 102 to Republicans' 101 seats. Unfortunately for them, their caucus would have 3 vacancies going to the January 3rd speaker vote. The first was made vacant by the death of State Rep. Tony DeLuca, who won his election posthumously, and the other 2 empty seats came from members being elected to higher office, Austin Davis to Lieutenant Governor and Summer Lee to U.S. House, and all 3 of these vacant seats are right here in Allegheny County. Going into the vote for Speaker, it was assumed that Democrats would stand behind their leader, Joanna McClinton, while Republicans would be divided among several candidates. But after 4 hours of negotiations, 16 Republicans defected to elect Democrat Mark Rozzi to the Speaker post. Rozzi, who represents parts of Berks County, vowed to act as an independent Speaker, saying in his victory speech, quote, "Sometimes Republicans will win, sometimes Democrats will win." Only 3 days after the vote, the same Republican who nominated Rozzi for Speaker, Representative Jim Gregory, called on him to resign. Gregory was under the belief that Rozzi would change his party registration to independent after becoming Speaker, but the Speaker later told him that he was simply considering a change in party. Currently, Rozzi's House website labels him as the Democratic Speaker of the House. Last week, Speaker Rozzi adjourned the House indefinitely and has not indicated whether or not he will change his party. The special elections to fill the 3 vacant seats will take place on February 7th. All seats are solidly Democratic. That's all for this week in PolitiSmack. Let's head things back over to our hosts.
Thanks, Nick. Welcome back. We're happy to have you.
Though Nick is a Daybreak veteran, he missed out on last semester's shows because he was busy with the internship over at our nation's capital.
Daybreak might not be as exciting as DC, but we're glad to have him back.
Switching topics over from politics to entertainment, let's hear from reporter Addison Deal about this year's Miss Universe pageant. Addie?
Miss USA won the title of Miss Universe at the 71st Annual Miss Universe pageant. After being crowned the first Filipino-American Miss USA, Arbani Gabriel also takes the position of the first Filipino-American Miss Universe. Gabrielle is a model and fashion designer as well as a sewing instructor from Houston, Texas. Her passion is environmental work through her fashion by creating eco-friendly clothing and using recycled material. The pageant itself was held in Louisiana against 84 other women, with the final 3 being Gabriel, Amanda Dudamel from Venezuela, and Andrina Martinez from the Dominican Republic. In the final question-and-answer segment, the contestants were asked how they would work as Miss Universe to empower and aid others. Gabrielle's leadership skills in her community inspired her answer by saying, quote, "I teach sewing classes to women that have survived from human trafficking and domestic violence. And I say that because it is so important to invest in others, invest in our community, and use your unique talent to make a difference," end quote. Along with her answers, her fashion choices during the pageant were highly original and unique. Inspired by a phoenix, Gabrielle wore a red-orange cape with the phrase, "If not now, then when?" dyed herself. Her influence for the look was from her father, whose advice was always to act on goals and dreams. After winning the title, Gabrielle plans on continuing her environmental and charity work, as well as being a leader in her communities as the face of the Miss Universe pageant. That's all for me. Back to our host for this semester's first ray of sunshine.
Thanks, Addison. In this case, this is your first time joining us or need a little refresher. Ray Sunshine is our way of starting your day with a smile and an inspirational quote.
With a new semester comes a lot of new things, new classes, new experiences, and even new challenges sometimes. Change can be a bit frightening, so this week we want to talk about how change can actually be something pretty amazing.
Our quote for this week is from Mandy Hale and reads, "Change can be scary, but you know what's scarier? Allowing fear to stop you from growing, evolving, and progressing."
Change is difficult, but that's the truth.
It really is, especially with spring starting.
No, yeah, new opportunities. Change provides new opportunities, new experiences, new stories you can tell in the future.
I know, and at least Point Park has a lot of good opportunities, so I think people should really come out to these CAB events and just browse around because there's so many good things to get from this school and the environment around you.
Right.
Especially as college students, we want a good job, we want to be successful, and I think what we need to do, stop being scared and just put your foot in the door.
Yeah, like I love walking down the street and be able to like wave to whoever I recognize. Even if I just had like one conversation with them, that's the change. Like you change because you get to meet new people. There's a club, new class, you meet new people everywhere.
It's networking or even just doing new activities. Like I'm doing an art studio down Lawrenceville right now. I would never do that if I wasn't scared.
Yeah, right. So change could suck sometimes, but it's really good.
It really is, yeah.
Well, that is it for the semester's first episode of Daybreak. Thank you all so much for joining us.
You can watch clips from all our previous Daybreak episodes on our YouTube at UView Television.
Don't forget to subscribe and follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Daybreak PPU. Until next time, I'm Anthony Durzo.
And I'm Colin Winder, hoping your news is great news. See you next week, everyone.